Hello guys, so today we're going over the domestic box office for the top 11 movies that still have sales going on, along with Playmo the movie, Terry Dark Fate, and of course Charlie's Angels. And is Toy Story and also Toy Story 4 and Lion King might finally be out of theaters. Finally out of theaters, but you know, Frozen 2 is still number one. It won't be number one next week because of Jumanji. We all know that will be true. Frozen 2 is on its third week. Oh, no, it's second week. No, it's on its third week. Okay, it's on its third weekend already. You really saying it's on its Frozen 2 is on its third weekend. Okay, not on its second weekend. It even says here week 3, and Joker's still doing pretty well. We'll get to Joker later. The only movies that are over 10 weeks old are Abominable, Downtown Abbey, and Ad Astra. The fact that Joker, get over Joker. So first is Frozen 2. Now, obviously, this video is not for kids because I cover all the movies that do make money at the box office. I cover all the movies, in the box office that make do these videos. So, basically, I'll go over how the number one movie and over possibly another movie still doing well. Frozen 2 will probably will pass $1 billion. Sadly, it's a terrible movie. Okay, I haven't seen it. But I don't want to see it. Okay, no, it's not terrible. But I heard the Frozen 2 was terrible. Okay, or bland or mediocre. So it's gonna be like the Lion King remake. It's be another bland and mediocre Disney movie that I'll be skipping out on for sure. But just like the Lion King remake, I'll be skipping out on Frozen 2. Didn't like the first movie either, so it doesn't help either. So the box office and it has now fallen below the actual projections here, because it's no longer Thanksgiving, it actually dropped 60%. Won't be surprised if it drops another 40 to 60% next week because of Jumanji. Jumanji does target, will probably get some family audiences away from Frozen 2. Black Christmas will not really draw any audiences away from Frozen 2. That's a R-rated horror movie. But Frozen 2 box office, performance, it might have a massive drop off afterwards, after these next few weeks, but it's not as bad as, Charlie's Angels and, Dark Fate that's dropping 60% each week, because Frozen 2 had a small drop on its second weekend. So that's kind of understandable for Frozen 2 to have a massive drop on its weekend, because its first two weekends were super great to begin with. So Knives Out, I think the message we have to sell, it's not about Star Wars is ruined. Okay, it means that Disney will make more Star Wars movies. Though it mean actually I'm not gonna say something else than I said. Oh, what I said when Knives Out was making money. This movie is gonna might actually help Star Wars. It might keep Ryan Johnson at bay with Star Wars, and he sold the legs here, 2.47 times its current box times its current opening, but Knives Out was only on its second weekend. It had it's having pretty great legs considering here. Next is War v Ferrari. I said this movie's gonna make money. It's doing pretty similar to Baby Driver at the box office. Okay, Baby Driver and War v Ferrari are doing very similar at the box office. It'll probably outbeat Baby Driver by around 5 to 10 million by the end of the year, and of course it could be the going to help this movie break even. Which, of course, the Oscars and the award season are going to help this movie tremendously. Okay, tremendously. Okay, you know, this is one of those movies that are not going to have a massive opening, but it's going to do pretty well throughout the weekends, probably both internationally and domestic. I would expect this movie to end around 250 million worldwide because of the worldwide, because of the Oscars, because the as soon as this film gets nominated for the Oscars, or gets and it goes all the awards season as this film wins awards, people will say, "Oh, this movie's winning awards," and people are saying, "Well, we told you this movie was awesome," and this movie's gonna make a lot more money than people think it will. Okay, you know, especially considering it's selling pretty similar to Baby Driver. The only best comparison we have is that being pretty great legs, 2.89. Really best comparison is First Man. It's not First Man, beat First Man already, but the best comparison for this movie is not any of these movies listed here. It's Baby Driver all the way back in 2017 because it's similar genre. It's a movie about cars, and Baby Driver eventually ended up around $107 million. Ford v Ferrari is already over 10 million ahead of Baby Driver. It's almost already 10 million north of Baby Driver as it is, as it stands here right now. And I think probably at the end of its box office run, it could be around 10 to 20 million dollars ahead of Baby Driver by the end of its goals. Because Baby Driver is another movie that really only did well in America, but Baby Driver did only have a $34 million budget. Ford v Ferrari is a much more expensive movie. Okay, you know, I think this movie is gonna end around 20 to 40 million internationally over Baby Driver at the end of its box office run. 40 million over Baby Driver's worldwide total, or 10 million ahead. So Ford v Ferrari versus Baby Driver decided to put that comparison out there. Do not say, ooh, Ford v Ferrari is gonna bomb at the box office. No, it's not gonna bomb at the box office. You don't have to worry about Ford v Ferrari anytime soon. Next is Queen of Swim. That's another local movie. It's doing pretty good at the box office. It's another one of those Oscar bait movies that come out. Oh, Oscar bait movies, and it's only in domestic, so I don't really think it's gonna win any awards, because they really want most movies that win awards. Um, and you see here the worldwide box office is won 3 times its box office, and it's sort of legs here, the feet accounts, and the movie will probably end up breaking even at the end of its box office. Doing pretty well. The wigs, doing pretty okay. A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is having pretty actually decent wigs. The movie still is not needs to have good international sales, because this movie is still in the red, still majorly in the red. Okay, I think the the Oscars, the awards are going to save this movie like a Ford v Ferrari, but I don't really see it making a massive amount of money. It's always if you look at its legs here, A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood is already having massive legs. Okay, it's one of these award season movies. Okay, it's having already massive legs compared to its actual opening, probably because of the word of the mouth for the movie. So A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood will probably do pretty well throughout this month. Probably end up over 60, $70 million. Dark Waters was a movie that just came out. It's one of those movies that come out in limited release and get to wide release. Do not know anything about this movie. If it's one of those Oscar movies, of course, it's gonna do pretty well. But Dark Waters is doing pretty well. Got expansion in the theaters, so it's doing pretty well in the theaters as well. So 21 Bridges is a movie that's doing, despite having Chadwick Boseman in it, it's just not doing well at the box office. It had another 49% swap, and I don't think it's gonna make that much more money. It's having pretty decent legs because of that, because the holidays, but it's not gonna. It needs to pass like 30 million. The budget for this movie is like $30 million, $45 million. So this movie's just not gonna make money as well. Brand Fire, this movie is still having these. This movie had pretty great legs for Thanksgiving. Movie had a budget. I think probably by the end of its box office run, it'll probably make back its money. There's a movie that is having pretty decent legs. The budget is around 30 million actually. And these small movies need like $20 million like advertising. This movie probably didn't have much advertising to begin with, so the movie probably is safe from being a flop. 21 Bridges needs to probably make another 5 to 6 million more. Needs adds like a 15 to 20 million. I think this movie had like a $50 million advertising budget. We don't know the actual full budget for the movie, but midway, I think this movie, if this is, it actually is. It's at 120 million worldwide. Actually, I didn't know it actually went from 100 to 120 million, so it's expanding internationally, but it's having pretty decent domestic legs. Hopefully, that worldwide box office is 1.2 times per production budget, which this movie probably had a advertising budget of around 50 million, so probably might actually lose money for Lionsgate, which is pretty insane because it has 2 of the actors from Alita Battle Angel in this movie. Yeah, it does. I found it out yesterday. I watched the trailer for it, but I didn't really pay attention to who was in it. But 2 of the actors from Alita Battle Angel, Ed Skrein, who plays Japan, and the other guy who plays Hugo is in the cast as well. So if you're a fan of Alita Battle Angel and you like those 2 actors specifically, you know definitely, if you're a fan of Lita, you should go see Midway because it has the guys from, if you like the actors from Alita, if you want to support them basically, as well. Keen Johnson in this movie. It's like Undone. A lot of fans of Alita went to support Undone. We'll probably support if they had Amazon. Probably will support that Netflix show that's coming out as well. Next is the biggest success, Joker. Yeah, Joker. It has passed Aladdin. Yeah, Odin said it did pass Aladdin, but yeah, it did pass Aladdin. It passed, that ugly Boudini, and Will Smith was probably crying, "Oh, Joker passed me at the worldwide box office." So yes, Joker eventually did pass that Aladdin movie. Okay, it didn't pass it domestically. It probably will never pass it domestically, but it's definitely on for 22 million. Well, domestically, and if we go over the comparison here, I'll make another separate video as well because I want to make, I want to get more views. But Aquaman here is 800,000 behind Aquaman now, so it is catching up to Aquaman, and it'll probably eventually will catch up to Aquaman at the end of its time. So next we have the last movie, was to be the last video be covering this movie, is Last Christmas. This movie has made back its money. It had a $40 million budget and made back its money. It's actually the second highest gross of that weekend. That big weekend that had 4 new releases coming out last Christmas, Doctor Sleep, Midway, and Playing the Fire. Last Christmas ended up being the lowest grossing of all 4 of the movies, but Last Christmas is still having decent legs throughout its box office run. It is a holiday movie, so it might actually do okay throughout the next weeks. But 50% drop, for a Christmas movie. This movie is not gonna really do well, considering that it's only because Black Christmas, which is a horror movie about Christmas, is coming out next week. I think Last Christmas will do pretty well over the next few weeks. I'll go over Play Mobile the movie. Yes, I decided to say cover this movie one last time, just to make fun of this movie. This movie is a massive, massive box office failure. It has a $75 million budget for a movie that isn't even that great, a movie that is garbage, and it feels cheaper. It's just as cheap as the Illumination movie. At least you can tell that the Illumination movies are at least better than Playboy with the movie. Playboy with the movie was released as like a movie that, oh look, basically let's release the Lego movie on well, I'll knock off the Lego movie and then do well. So next is last but not least, second to last, not is Tornado Dog Fate. Tornado Dog Fate. Yeah, no one's watching this movie. Okay, someone said they do want to buy the Blu-ray. It's alright. You can go buy the Blu-ray if you want, but this movie is just like Dark Phoenix. No one wants it. It's gonna completely sit down on shelves. Okay, we still feel hardcore Tornado fans. Okay, so say, okay, let's go buy the Blu-ray. Anyways, it made $250 million at the box office. Probably didn't make much more money internationally either, because this movie's rotting in the theaters. That's not making money. And next is the biggest failure, Charlie's Angels. This movie is completely dead in theaters. This movie is completely dead already, and I'll cover. It dropped another 83% to 703 theaters. I just wanted to cover these 2 movies because these movies are just not making any money because this movie completely sucks alongside Dark Fate, and it's now below. It's now actually below the average movie. So Charlie's Angels is now below the average movie that opened with 8 million. So this shows how poorly this movie has done throughout the box office, how awful this movie has sold, and Hollywood didn't listen to us. Obviously, Hollywood didn't listen to us saying, "Oh my God, Charlie's Angels, 10 out of 10, let's give Elizabeth Banks another movie, oh!" And you can see here that Charlie's Angels, well, is completely bombing. No one's watching it. And record Dark Phoenix and Dark Fate and these other woke movies, they're using excuses after excuses after excuses and not admit the real reason why these awful movies flop. Or let's also go over another movie, Parasite. This movie, I have heard that this movie is a masterpiece of film for many people. It's a foreign movie, which, it has done pretty well. It's probably one of the highest grossing internet foreign movies come out in the box office. It has 7.747% times its original box office. You know, times when it went wide, and its opening weekend. Well, it's a 7.7 times this when it went wide because its opening weekend was pretty small because it was a limited release, but its opening weekend when it went over 600 theaters, obviously it has sold when it got into more theaters it went it goes 7 times its original weekend opening. So that's one thing for you. So that's it about just seeing Song or Parasite in English. So this movie is still doing well. It's another movie that people have been saying. People are probably angry that this movie doesn't win Best Picture. Which I can feel. I haven't seen it, but I feel you guys saying it's one of the best movies of the year. It's one of the best, greatest movies probably of all of history. Some people are saying it is like Joker. This movie, just like Joker, is gonna continue making money throughout the award season. Especially if it does win Oscars for categories, it'll continue on doing extremely well at the box office. And that's basically it. Goodbye.